Okay, hello and welcome. Chris here, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the second step in the Zen Titan system, which is the research page within the Zen Affiliate software. So if I go over to Zen Affiliate, log in and click on the research page, then we're basically going to be entering information in for each product that we add. We're going to add the information on the research page. It's then going to appear on the campaigns page, and from there we can export it as a campaign and import that file into Zen Video and create a video and the WordPress theme, and also create an article. But the first step is the research page basically. So once we've chosen our niche, we now need to go and add products for that niche to basically build out our own private product database of Amazon products and affiliate programs basically that we can promote. So we're just going to enter a few details about the product on this research page: the product name, the URL or our affiliate link, a couple of images, and a few other bits of information down here. The good thing about this is there's no writing, it's really just data entry, very simple to do, and really the only step within Zen Titan that really involves you doing anything at all really. Then we're going to save the product to our private database of research products, which, as I say, is the campaigns page. So you research information here and then save it to the database, which will then put it on the campaigns page. And then from there, on the campaigns page, you can spin the data into a paragraph and export that file to create a video or article. But that's really step 3, the campaigns page, and we're going to focus on step 2, which is the research page. Now, one other thing I do want to mention, if you don't necessarily want to do this step, you don't want to go and research all these products, or perhaps you do and you don't mind doing it, but you also want to start off with products already on the campaigns page, then you're probably going to want to check out Pro, because Pro contains a database of hundreds of products already included on the campaigns page, so it means you don't necessarily need to do as much for step 2. So now we're actually going to look at how the research page works. Now, as I say, you're going to be adding products on the research page to build up your product database. But before we do that, we need to do a bit of preparation, and there's 3 things that we need to kind of be aware of. And the first thing is I would consider installing the Tab Resize extension for Google Chrome. Now, before I show you that, I do just want to point out one other thing, and that's the Quick Start Guide, which I've mentioned before. It's really an indispensable guide, and in particular some of these sections, like the step 2 section on researching products, which is what we're going to talk about in this video. I do talk about all of this stuff that I'm about to show you, but within the Quick Start Guide. So for example, getting set up with the Tab Resize extension and all the things that I'm about to talk about here, it's all covered within this guide. So I think the section on the research bit is like 10 or 15 pages long, so definitely check it out for step 2. But anyway, we're going to want to do these 3 steps before we get started. The first thing that we'll want to do is we'll want to consider installing the Google Chrome browser and then getting the Tab Resize extension for Google Chrome. So if I just go over to Google Chrome here, I've got a tab open, and let me just kind of resize this a little bit. I just want to stretch it out so you can actually see how this looks. Now you can see I've got Tab Resize open. You can see this, it appears as an icon here, and all I want to do is just click on the icon and then click 7.3. And by the way, you can get that set up by basically, I'll show you how to do that within the Quick Start Guide. And then what we can do once we've got this set up is we can basically have 2 windows open. One window is going to allow us to put the information in on the right hand side, and then on the left hand side we can go and do our research. So for example, top drones under $100, and we can go and look at what the top drones are. So for example, this one here, Cyma XE F15 or whatever, we can copy that and we can literally just drag that straight over here, and it's just going to save us having to dart between tabs. Some people do prefer this system, the 2 windows. Other people prefer to just have multiple tabs open at the top and kind of copy and paste and go back and forth between the tabs. So whatever works for you, but I do want to point out that Tab Resize is a useful tool for that purpose. But what we're going to want to do, the first thing we'll want to do, once you've kind of decided whether to install Tab Resize, is for each niche you're going to want to pre-research on Google and build a list of top products in your niche. Now again, this is something that I do talk about with the, within the Quick Start Guide. So let me just kind of scroll up here and show you the relevant kind of section. And as I explain here, this pre-research step, which is on page 16 of the Quick Start Guide, the question then is, which products should we review within our niche? And the answer is that we want to find the best products within the niche. In a lot of cases, if we put the keyword into Google, Google Shopping will just give us a Google card with some of the top products. We can go over to Shopping and have a look and filter, although I do find Google Shopping can be quite limited. A lot of the time, Google will just kind of give us a list which is pulled from the data of a particular website without us having to even visit the website. But I do recommend you also go to the websites and build up a bit of an idea about what those top products are. So let's just go over here, and you can see that, again, pretty much like in the example from the guide, we have a Google card pulled from Google Shopping with the data, a potential list of some of the best ones. We also have a list here, top 10 drones under $100, and then we also have these articles here, and so we can just really go to any one of these, and let's say that we were targeting the drone niche, we can just go to any one of these and start entering some of the data. Now, I don't recommend that you just kind of copy and paste the data, the information that you find here. I do recommend that you go and do a bit of research and kind of tweak the data as much as possible. But let me just move this across. You can kind of see what I'm putting in here. So let's start off with this one. So we're just going to write down a kind of a short list of some of the top products. You can see I'm just opening a notepad file and putting in some of these product names here. And so you really just want to kind of go through some of the some of the lists on these sites and build up a list of, in this case it's like what was our keyword, top drones under $100. And once you've kind of gone through some of these lists and you have a good idea of what the best drones are, what you then want to do is basically take that product name again and put it back into Google and put the word review. And let me just close this down. And then what we're going to want to do is basically put in the information and fill in the information for that product for each of these. So you can see I've put in Cyma XC1. I'm going to put in the type of product. Well, it's a drone, isn't it? So I'll just put drone in. We have a URL of the product. Now, if you've got an Amazon affiliate account already, I suggest you put your Amazon affiliate link in here. Otherwise, you can just take the product name and just put in Amazon.com along with the product name, and it will then bring up, obviously I'm in the UK, so it's trying to redirect me to the UK, but it will basically bring up the title, the link for that particular product. So I can just go over here and copy that link and then click back, and I've literally just grabbed that link there. Now if you can look over here, you'll see the link has got DP/ and then some random stuff at the end. You can basically delete everything after the DP. Okay, so we've entered the product name, the title, we've entered our URL. If we had an Amazon affiliate account, we would put our affiliate link in here. We've put the type in, which is just a short kind of name of what the product is. And one thing we do want to do as well, by the way, which I forgot to do there, is to put the price in. And generally you'll want to just have a very quick look on Amazon and see what the rough price is. You can see this one here doesn't have a kind of fixed price. It's got various prices here, so I'm just going to go with that, put $55. I'd like to keep my prices kind of pretty vague, because people can potentially buy from different sellers. The price can vary quite a bit. Now in terms of the images, what we want to put in here are at least one, ideally two images. And the easiest way to grab the image is to go to Amazon.com for the product, right click, and then choose copy image location. But as you can see, for not every product, and generally it's the ones with this kind of zoom that we have here, for not every product can we actually do that and right click and just grab that. Now there's a few ways to kind of grab an image for the product, but generally what we'll want to do is be aware of copyright firstly. And secondly, really what we're after is to grab an image which is nice and clean, doesn't have loads of annotations on it. It's kind of roughly around sort of 500 by 500 or 1000 by 1000, and just kind of looks very, very simple. So you can see some of these look good. The only problem with these is that if you look at the URL, the dronefiles.net, this is potentially, you know, an image that's owned by the dronefiles.net, so they may not be too happy if I go and grab this image. So ideally what we want to do is to grab an image from either the manufacturer of the product, which in this case is Cyma, I would presume, or we want to grab an image from Amazon.com. And the logic there is, even though we may not necessarily own the copyright, it is probably going to be within fair use, and they're probably not going to have an issue with us, you know, taking an image from the official page or from Amazon.com to promote and recommend their product. So what I'm going to do is start off by putting in Cyma.com, which should bring up images. In fact, let me just put site:cyma.com. So that's not brought that up, so maybe they actually don't have the domain, or maybe they just don't have any images there. So what I'm going to do now is just put in site Amazon.com and pull in find any images for the Cyma X5C1 that is on Amazon.com, and you can see straight away we do have quite a few matches here. Ideally what you want is a kind of a few different images. So for example, you wouldn't want that one and that one because they're the exact same images. And we also ideally want either transparent images, so we can put PNG in here as well, or potentially we want at least images that have got a white background. Now this one is 1492 by 1017, so this one is pretty much perfect. So what I'm going to do is click on this, click on view image. The image appears, and then at the top I'm going to grab the URL of this image and paste it into images here. So you can see this one is a JPEG actually, so it's not transparent, but it will suffice. We have another one here which I think is showing the controls for it, so I'm just going to click on this and see how this looks. Again, this one looks fine, so I'm just going to copy this and paste this in as our second image. So that's pretty much how you enter the images. Now we've entered kind of all of these pieces of information. The next thing I'm going to want to do is enter the features, and we can also give it a rating, by the way. I'm just going to rate this 4 stars because we can always change this later on in the campaigns page. But we can basically, for the features, we can go in and give it 3 features, either pluses or minuses. Now one thing I do want to point out is you'll want to choose mostly pluses, potentially 2 pluses or 3 pluses or 2 pluses and a minus. If you find yourself putting in 2 minuses and a plus, then why are you even including the product? We are after all trying to recommend these products, so if all you've got to say is bad things about the product, then you probably shouldn't be adding it. So I'm just going to put in 2 pluses and just leave that as select type, and hopefully we'll be able to come up with 2 pluses for this product. So I'm just going to click on back and go to my original search, which was, I think, just the name of the product. And I'm just going to click on this, which is a review of the product, and you'll see how quickly I'm going to move through this. So I'm just going to scan this and see what it says. Not much has changed. So I'm just going to keep on scanning, and really what I'm after is to see if there's a summary at the bottom, and you can see there are these pros and cons. So really all we need to do, exceptionally stable, so we can just put very, very stable, easy and fun to fly, easy and to start using. Cons, average flight time, so we could put which I presume is a reference to battery life. You see, I'm not just copying and pasting this. I could kind of just drag it across, which would be the easy way to do it, but I don't really want to do that. I want to kind of just change it slightly to give it a bit of my own spin. So average flight times, I'm just going to put in mediocre battery life. Now you'll notice as well that I'm not putting full sentences in, and the reason for that is because this uses the spinner. Okay, so on the campaigns page, which we'll come on to later on, we're going to see how this text, this information is spun out into a full paragraph. So we don't want to kind of have a long, 20-word description here. We want to keep it, very much to the point, just like all of these. So we're talking 2, 3, 4 words for each one. So once we've done that, I'm just going to click on Save Product to Database, and let me just expand this out if I can. So I'm not entirely sure where this has gone. It's not arranged by recency, so it's somewhere within this. Let me just try and search and see if I can find it. So there we have it. You can see this is the drone that we've just entered. It only took us a few seconds, and it's now on the campaigns page. Now I do suspect, I kind of dived in on this video, I do suspect there's a few things that I may have missed here. So yeah, the quick links section, I do need to talk about that. You can see some of the stuff here I have kind of talked about. The title should be short. The title is the product name. Keep it short and to the point. So, you'll see that for this one, for example, I called it, the Cyma X5C. What I didn't do is call it the Cyma X5C, upgraded version with bells and whistles, etc., etc., etc. So keep the product name short, keep the type short as well. So drone, you can put in lightweight drone or cheap drone if you want. Don't put, drone with HD camera and something. The URL can be our affiliate link. The price can be anything. I generally recommend you focus on the US market, which means US dollars, but you can also use pound sterling or Canadian dollars or Australian dollars, whatever you want to put in. The images I've talked about, they should be simple, between 300 and 300 to 1500, and really should come from the Amazon or the manufacturer's website. PNG files, transparent files are the best. And all of this stuff, again, I do talk about this within the Quick Start Guide, so I definitely recommend you check out the Quick Start Guide, even if it's only to kind of go through some of these fairly kind of, to go through this particular section, some of these detailed steps. But what I want to talk about at the end that I did actually miss, and I apologize, is the quick links section. So actually, let me just go over here and show you that at the top we have various quick links. So we have a link to Google, we have a link to Amazon.com, a link to Amazon UK, ClickBank, JVZoo. And by the way, the focus of ZenTitan is Amazon, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that you only focus on Amazon. ZenTitan as a system will work with any kind of affiliate program, any product, any niche, which is why we've got ClickBank and JVZoo links here. We also have Google CC and YouTube CC, and CC basically stands for Creative Commons. And the reason that we include Creative Commons searches is because Creative Commons are basically royalty free, so we can use them in our video without fear of being sued. And then finally we have a link to Google Image. Now I'll talk a bit more about the Creative Commons in just a second, but one thing I want to point out is if we're on the browse page and we click on any one of these, so let's just click on keyword Bluetooth speaker, you'll see that it will enter the type as Bluetooth speaker. But what's also cool is that these links will also automatically search for that keyword. So let me just click on YouTube, for example, and you'll basically see that it's done a search for Bluetooth speaker. But what's also cool is, in this case, it's a Creative Commons video. Now the reason that this YouTube Creative Commons link can be useful is Zen Video, which I'll come on to obviously in another video, basically allows you to import videos from into any video that you're creating, a video review. So you can potentially, let's say that you are let's say you're promoting a MacBook Air. What you can do is go and grab a video of someone else who's recorded, an unboxing of the MacBook Air or a review of the MacBook Air, whatever it is, and you can take a snippet of their video, pull the video from YouTube, edit it, chop it down to a kind of subsection, and then import it back into Zenvideo and use that as part of your video. And obviously including videos like that is going to potentially make your video more engaging. So that's the YouTube CC link, the Creative Commons link. And we can also, you know, do a search for Google for Creative Commons, which is useful for finding images that are copyright free. So once again, I do talk about a lot of this stuff within the you know, within, I think it's page 13 of the Quick Start Guide. I talk about this step, this research step, so definitely check that out. But I think we've pretty much covered step 2, which is adding products to the research page. Hopefully this was all clear. Definitely check out the Quick Start Guide. And the next step is going to be the campaigns page, where we basically go in and start to play around and potentially export a campaign using some of the products that we've entered on the research page. So thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.